This is a little different from my usual videos. Normally, I just drop the full raw gameplay, no commentary, no interruptions, but today I wanted to switch things up and actually walk you through how I think during a round and the simple strategies I've used to consistently do well. Now, just to set expectations, I'm not a pro player. I'm not out here dropping 80 plus kill games every match, but I do play smart. I play the objective, and I found a style that lets me perform well consistently while still actually enjoying the game. So if you're an after-work gamer or a weekend warrior balancing work, friends, family, but you still want to hop on, let loose, have a solid round, I made this video more for you. So for me, gaming's a way to decompress, no stress, no pressure, just good gameplay, smart decisions, having fun. So in this video, I'll break down the mindset going into a match, my loadout choices, and then I'll walk you through a full round with real-time thoughts and key decisions. The main topics will be on movement and positioning techniques, focusing on the objectives, overall awareness, and map knowledge. So let's get into it. To set the stage for the actual gameplay, one of the biggest things that helps is deciding how you want to play before the match even starts. And that decision drives your entire loadout. So today I'm running Engineer, and I'm leaning into a very objective-focused anti-vehicle play style. So I like to use the rocket launcher for consistent anti-vehicle pressure and for the occasional infantry snipe. I've also got the mines to control space, punish vehicles who aren't paying attention. We have the frag grenade, and then I used to like the combat knife, and this is really just so you can move faster in between points and really get to the objective. And for the gun, today I'm using the SOAR 556 MK2, which is an absolute laser from mid to far range. For the attachments, we're using the 4X scope, which really allows us to hone in on those mid to far ranges. I've got the violet laser, which really helps with that side-to-side accuracy when you're strafing. I'm using the flash hider, which completely removes in-world spotting, and that helps for flanks and staying off others' mini-maps. I'm using the 18-inch long barrel, along with the 6H64 vertical, grip, 36 round mag, and the standard ammunition. And so this thing just really helps with that side-to-side accuracy. And again, it's just really good for mid to long ranges where this thing really shines. And one final point I want to make before we jump into the gameplay is you can really make almost any loadout work, but the key is lining your gear with what your intent is. So for example, you wouldn't take an LMG into tight close quarter fights and expect to dominate, nor would you sit back with a high spray SMG trying to play long range support. So everything should match your playstyle for that round. Today, we're going to jump into a match on Iberian Offensive, specifically an Escalation round. And of course, this is a smaller, fast-paced map, but still has vehicles in play, which makes engineers really valuable. So in this match, we secure the win. I finished first place with 34 kills, but the important part is we get 18 objective captures, which is really what drives the score and kind of shifts the momentum. So it's not a crazy kill game, but a high-impact game, and that's really the goal here. So with that, let's jump into the gameplay. Alright, so we're starting as the Pax Armada in the back of the map. Really, when I'm trying to just do well overall, my first goal is to kind of just get those easy objectives. I mean, they're boring, but they get you those early points. So I'm going to try to rush into A here. And I always tend to just kind of push to the front. I mean, no one's really going to contest this early, so you can kind of get up here and stay safe. And on this map, I know that vehicles like to come down through this alley, so I'll immediately put down my mines here, and I usually get a few kills throughout the match from that. Now I'm rushing as quick as I can, more central, trying to capture a more pivotal point pretty quickly. You can see the rest of the team has the same idea. What you quickly notice is how contested this gets right away. This is a very crucial central objective. And that kind of knowledge, that map knowledge, just comes from practice. So, you know, you just play these maps enough, you start to know where the choke points and the bottlenecks are. And so at this point, I'm trying to find out where's the next best path to take. You know, I'm minimizing my exposure, body exposure, so I'm less of a target for others. I notice it's kind of contested, there's a lot of open space, so I'm rethinking my path here. And when I do that, I notice that this left side of the map is fairly contested, and we're kind of losing the momentum. We only have 2 objectives right now, so this could swing really quickly. So again, this is coming back to map knowledge. I know there's some good flanking routes, so I try to kind of reassess my alignment here to avoid some of the main lines of fire. By the time I get up here, my team's already kind of pushed in, so it was easy take. Now I'm patiently waiting. I'm watching that mini-map. You can see 2 people coming up down below, which is what I saw. You can take them out, reduce that pressure. Just going to check to make sure anyone else isn't popping up, but then you see that gets under pressure real quick, so I'm going to back up. Now I'm trying to see what's the next objective we should really push here. Make sure these angles are clear, always minimizing that body exposure. And see, yeah, it loves that gunfight. The guy came in, wasn't expecting it, but my team's right there. Get the nice revive. I'm gonna reassess my angles again, push a different objective. We definitely don't have the momentum yet, so it's all about capturing these objectives, especially in Escalation. You're always looking at what's the next contested objective, where's kind of the momentum swinging. Did they break our lines? Are they hitting our back objectives, like objective A in this case, or B, which they have currently? So we're going to try to swing this a little bit. So we captured D, which is great. Keeping an eye on others trying to spawn in here. And again, I'm always trying to take smart routes. That doesn't always happen, but you can always kind of think about that as you're moving, kind of trying to surprise the enemy. Checking angles before I just cross the open here a little bit. I see a guy sprint to the left. So I can get him on the first interaction, but I'm going to try to reduce my body exposure by crouching. You see I come out barely there. And while I'm waiting for myself to reheal, I see this other guy trying to take him out. Get some help from the teammates. You just got this guy camping here. Get that quick kill, though he almost gets me, so I'm going to wait for the health to regen before I go out and try to contest this objective. So we're good. We got a bunch of push from our teammates. When I'm capturing objectives, this probably goes without saying, but I always find it smart, find a corner, get low, crouch. Everyone's always like trying to get another kill or two in, which works, but at this point we're just trying to swing the momentum here. We're kind of backed by their spawn, so we want to be careful. They're going to start pushing this pretty quickly, even though we have pretty good support from our team. I'm going to put down some more mines since I'm playing as engineer, and we know they're going to be driving vehicles back through this area quite frequently. And so yeah, just as we expected, we're backed by their spawn. There's always going to be a few people hanging out trying to push back and recapture their side of the map. But now I'm thinking, where's the next closest objective to get to that's contested for momentum purposes? We see E's being taken right now. C looks like we're taking advantage. So we're going to go E instead. I'm always kind of scanning, head on a swivel, and not just jumping out. So there, a lot of people just jump right over this rail, and this is one of those choke points that as you play this map more and more, you get used to, and you know not to just kind of jump out in there. So now we're capturing again, and I'm finding my corner. I'm not going to put up 80 kills this round, so I'm not just trying to sprint around this objective the entire time. I'm not good enough for that. I realize that. So instead I'll pick a corner and wait till we capture this. Make sure people don't sneak in. Just like that. We secured E, which is a crucial central objective. And this guy gets a nice hit. But we got enough help, so we're going to get the revive here. You can see we only have 6 kills so far in this match, but we're in first place because we're really playing the objective. So again, we get this central objective. Now we're really thinking again, where's the momentum shifting? And so you can see they captured our objectives closer to our spawn. So we really need to swing this back. Starts with B, starts with A. And one thing that's always important is to kind of, even if you're not using a mic, it's just to really communicate with your team. So I like to spot. That's the double tap on the right bumper if you're on controller. It just helps kind of communicate, orient your teammates. You don't want to overuse it, but it's a good way to communicate without verbal communication. Switching to that combat knife whenever I can, when I think it's safe enough. Get that little bit of extra speed to close some distances. Now this is all just about kind of setting a different angle. See, you could have gone down on the floor level, but I chose to go up. This sometimes becomes a contested little alleyway, and so I wanted to kind of see if I could get a heads up on anyone, get that slight advantage that can make the difference. And it's really just about getting practice on knowing when to engage and disengage in gunfights, and if you just practice these little movements and sliding in and out of cover and minimizing your exposure, like here I'm a bit overexposed, but there's no one really in the corridor, so I'm able to kind of compensate there. But as you start to pick up on these skills, you really just get more comfortable in those gunfights, and you also know when to disengage. It's also important when you realize you're at a loss and you kind of need to dip around corners. Of course, That doesn't always pan out with the current netcode and you dying behind corners, but in an ideal situation when they get that back to how it should be, it really pays off to disengage when you don't have the advantage. So you can see I'm just trying to hold this little corridor, and I'm disengaging when I can and resetting the angle. And then knowing again when to disengage, so my health got real low there, so I backed off, let that regen happen, check for any flanking. You know, and that brings up another good point, which is, you know, while you're handling these corridors and trying to hold the line, it's also important to keep an eye on your minimap. See, that guy popped up on the minimap behind me, but I wasn't paying attention. So they're flanking us behind. Now you see a whole bunch of people swarming. Probably couldn't have done much about that, but I could have repositioned and tried to give a chance for our teammates to spawn and help out there. So it looks like, you know, C's heavily contested now. Lay down my mines, as always, kind of on the outskirts, knowing where the vehicles tend to travel. And again, we're resetting now a position on that same corridor. But that leaves D pretty well exposed. I'm going to lose this gunfight because I kind of went in without paying too much attention. But you can see my mindset there was everyone's focused on C. So in my head, I was thinking, how else can we switch this momentum? And we can switch to another objective that might be kind of out of focus of the other team. So now here, I'm just trying to stay central, stay relevant in the match. Again, E was just previously owned. We're taking it back over, so now we need to push back towards D and C here. But this corridor just gets crazy. Here I'm starting to get a little too ambitious, and you can see I've been caught here now 2 or 3 times in a row.
I'm bleeding out, medic!
Still in first though, I mean we have 14 objectives, and that's the key here, is we're really playing the objective. We have a good KD, but that's not really the point here. The point is we're focusing on the objective, we're making sure we capture them, and usually that comes with the kills. If you're playing the contested objectives, you're swinging the momentum, the kills will follow. So putting out my classic anti-vehicle there, it's just a really, really popular route. We'll go back up through B even though we have it. It's just a nice central alleyway and just quickly becomes contested time and time again each match. Here you can check the minimap, so I see there's a whole bunch of people coming in there, so I don't just jump down right away. I kind of see what they're going to do before doing that. It looks like they're hesitating, so I'll move forward a little bit. Looks like our team kind of handles that and they move on. So again, not running out, just checking corners, seeing where I can pick people off, and I'm trying to move towards those contested objectives. It's in a bit of a stalemate right now, so it's really about kind of being careful and picking those locations that make the most sense. So you're not going to go capture their objective by yourself, like on F. I mean, I could try, get some teammates to spawn on me, but you can tell there's kind of people spaced out across the entire map right now. So I'm kind of trying to evaluate what's the best move here. We got the tank support, so I'm kind of falling behind here, taking advantage of that. A whole bunch of guys in this alleyway. Getting shot from behind. Again, let that health regenerate. Just be patient. That's another key. I see a lot of easy kills that I get, and sometimes I die from too as well when you forget. You don't need to be running around like crazy and dancing. The movement helps, of course, but it's all about patience, looking at your mini-map, understanding where the flow of the match is. Escalation can be a little more chaotic since there's not a unidirectional focus. But you can still generally feel the flow, where people are focusing in on and where they're not. So this guy snuck up behind. He was, if you noticed, he was kind of side strafing slowly, so you couldn't really hear his footsteps. I mean, that's a smart tactic. He can also be caught from behind doing that. Get the revive. Pretty risky revive, but we got enough support, so it worked out. So now you can see we really changed the momentum of this match. We have most of the objectives. We're going to start moving towards the next landmark here. So somehow this whole team pushes up on me here. This is where you start racking up kills. I don't really have any advice in those settings. It's really, you know, practice. You get your right loadout, you get your right gun setup, practice in the gun range, find out what setup works for you. In Battlefield, I really like that you can make any gun work depending on your playstyle. So just try a few different setups and see what works with you in the gun range, and then you should have success. Like, it just takes practice. So you can see now we've really shifted the momentum here, but you can see now they're pushing D and E. I guess D's fine. So all that's left is F, and I mean, we're really putting on the pressure here. They're kind of stuck back there in their spawn in that F capture point. And so oftentimes this is where you can really start to rack up the kills, because you can just hold an angle. So I get taken out by the side, you know, they're obviously going to try to find some flanking routes, some like quieter areas to sneak through. But these are really opportunities that you can take advantage if you're not someone that gets high kill rounds. You know, if you get on a team that just starts to dominate, you can find these choke points where the team just can't break out of them, and you kind of get cheap kills. I mean, it's effective, but, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, still in first. I mean, we have a really good KD, but again, this match we were really just focusing on playing the objectives, trying to get a good win, and the kills just came with it naturally. So you can see they broke through. They're kind of trying to push E a little bit, but they broke through to B. So we're going to go try to reduce that. But as you saw, the momentum shifted so fast that they ended up taking B off the map anyway, so that didn't really pan out for the other team. Putting down more mines, just playing the class. I'm a bit biased. I tend to play engineer probably too much, but it really allows you to kind of focus on, you know, anti-vehicle, but also kind of being a little more aggressive and having different ways to take players out. You don't just have grenades and your gun, you can use your RPGs, you get some extra kills with the mines every few minutes or so. But I think I'll make some more videos like this where we'll look at some of the other classes like Assault and Support, and show, you know, different tactics there as well. The game style obviously changes a bit, and we can also do other game modes. I really like playing Support on Breakthrough when you're trying to break through those lines and, you know, keeping the team in it by keeping those revives going. So here I get a little too aggressive. I should have looked at the minimap. You'll notice that there were quite a lot of people that showed up indoors, and I kind of just rushed it, seeing, you know, my eyes got big. I saw a guy run out in front of me, and that's where you just got to remember, take it slow, be patient. You know, this isn't the same as Call of Duty where you can kind of, you know, it's quicker spawns and so forth. It's important to be patient, minimize that exposure, look at the minimap. My mines were taken out from earlier, so I'm going to reset them. You can see they got some players kind of trying to break through their spawn again. But we're going to go try to help out with E, because we don't want this momentum to break through or shift. We want to keep this going. So now we're kind of getting hit from two different angles, a bad spot to be in, and try to get out of here. Reposition. It's always about repositioning when you're not at an advantage. And you can see I got two snipers and they get me. They're just kind of holding that line. I'd say that you start to learn a lot of these angles and choke points the more you play. So, you know, you can do the custom matchmaking, and if you're trying to learn a map, just, you know, sync up on one of those maps over and over again and just get used to it, learn the choke points. It's obviously going to be different for different gameplay and game modes and so forth, but, you know, you can get comfortable with them. I like Escalation, I like Breakthrough, so you start to get familiar with where the choke points are, where the highly contested regions are. So that last moment I didn't have a chance to say, you know, that's why I like playing Engineer. I think that was 5+ kills or something taking that tank out. I'm not sure, there must have been someone hanging out on the side, but it's just always so satisfying. You can't beat that Battlefield immersiveness. Say what you will about Battlefield 6, it still does have that great sound design. Whether the proximity audio is good yet or not to be up for debate. Yeah, so not too much I could have done there. They threw a grenade pretty well behind me. If I'd run forward, he would have just taken me out. So I was just trying to get the kill before I died. So we pretty much have this one in the bag. We're really just trying to make sure no big momentum changes happen. So we're kind of trying to keep the pressure on them. These guys are kind of camping back here, I think, trying to put pressure on C. So I'm just trying to keep it under control. Yeah, It's fine. We got so much help around here, you know, even if you don't make it through this life, the idea is just getting your teammate aware. So they shot at me, so now they appear on the mini-map, and all of a sudden everyone around you is now aware of where they are. So that can also be an advantage as well. So I'm switching back again. We kind of have that back half of the map under control, so now we're trying to put pressure again on their spawn. I see the guy on my mini-map, so that's why I backed up there. And see, we got that slight advantage. Had we run out there, he probably would have gotten that gunfight. So here I'm just setting a different angle. I could have just run forward, but I like having a little bit more cover here, approaching those other corridors. And I figured they're trying to push E, so we might get some people running up these steps soon. And if not, we just have a better angle for this little area. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. We get a really solid win here. I feel like I had a pretty good game. Again, not putting up 80 kills, but you know, it's a solid win. You get the kills, you get the KD, but you're really just playing the game, having fun, capturing the objectives. So leave a comment below if you have any tips for future videos or any specific walkthroughs you might be interested in. And as always, consider leaving a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you want to see some more. Anyways, enjoy the weekend, spread some positivity, and I'll catch you in the next one.